Page, you ready?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City. Proceedings will begin. The board is now in session. Mr. Chairman, I call the first case, Dominic Lascola, O'Donnell Curley LLC, trading as El Buffalo, 2921 O'Donnell Street. This is a Class B, D7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for request to add live entertainment and off-premise catering. All parties testifying, please come forward and raise your right hand.
First, are you representing him?
Yes.
Would you identify yourself for the record, please?
Kelly James on behalf of the applicant.
Okay, and let me ask everyone who appears in these matters today to lean into these microphones because we're being recorded, and unless you're close, it doesn't pick up your voice. Thank you. Please raise your hand, sir, and this gentleman to my left will take your name and swear you.
Swear or affirm the testimony that you're going to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
You, Mr. Lascola.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And counsel, your name again?
Kelly James.
Okay, Ms. James, you want to proceed?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners. I am here on behalf of applicant Dominique Lascola. One point of clarification. This is a request for live entertainment only. The off-premises catering is already on the license. So today, we are here. We have much community support. Mr. Doug Kaufman is supposed to be coming, although he's running a bit late. He is the president of the Community Association, Canton Community Association, who is here to speak on Mr. Lascola's behalf if need be. So if I may proceed by proffer. Mr. Lascola is a 100% member of O'Donnell Curley LLC, which is the owner of El Buffalo, located at 2921 O'Donnell Street on Canton Square. He has been the owner since 2012, and there was a liquor license transfer on his behalf in December of 2014 when he became the sole licensee. Since he has owned the bar, there have been no violations. He has established an excellent relationship with Canton community. He has wanted live entertainment since he purchased the business, but has been patiently waiting and working with the community to make sure the community was in full support of this request. In support, we have the Canton Community Association letter in support of this application, which I have additional copies. I believe it's in the file. And we have the MOU, which...
Let me just be clear. Do we have it in the file?
I haven't seen that or.
You haven't.
Can we have another copy of it,
Yes.
please? Make it part of the record.
This is,
Oh. Okay. So we do have it.
I have additional copies if...
it would be helpful to have additional copies. Thank you.
Okay, and then I'll give this back to the, so it can be, we'll make that part of the record.
Thank you. We also have the MOU that we have copies of. Does the board also need copies of the MOU?
Please.
Spread out here a little bit.
Could you maybe highlight for us what the MOU covers?
Yes. There will be no amplified instruments. There will be no dancing. There will be no promotion of live entertainment. There will be, I believe it is 2 to 3 maximum
Persons. correct.
persons to perform at one time. I believe it is 3 days a week
Can
maximum.
you find out if she's
Correct.
going to be speaking? I
And
can't. I don't want to be
that-
anywhere near that baby.
What are the times? So it is 1 o'clock.
We will conclude all live entertainment by 1 o'clock, as per the MOU.
Then on March 14th, 2016, the zoning board granted the conditional use subject to additional conditions incorporating the MOU. And I have copies of the zoning board's decision if you would like to have extra copies
I
of
think
this.
that is in the record. So, Mr. Lascola, what is your concept? What kind of entertainment are you looking to provide?
We're going to do DJ entertainment on the weekends and have the opportunity to do live acoustical entertainment during the happy hour and early evening hours.
So some background music kind of thing, or is it?
As it relates to the live entertainment, the acoustical acts, yes, sir.
Okay.
In addition to the MOU requirements, there's also been soundproofing that Mr. Lascola agreed to, and we have invoices that has been completed. which I also have for the board.
Okay. The MOU will be made part of the record, as will this.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything further?
Well, the conditions include also enhanced lighting provided on the exterior, and there's currently a
this
contract
case?
underway to
Is she for
complete
this case?
the installation of that lighting, and I believe that we just received the permit so that they can go ahead and begin.
That is correct.
And I also have that contract if the board would like to see it.
Sure, if you want to make that part of the record.
you do
And
this with
this is
people?
ready to go if you're approved?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna just excuse myself. I don't know what to do.
This will be made part of the record as well.
I need to call sorry anyway.
And we also have the support of O'Donnell Square Business District Association, which I believe did.
I'm sorry, I missed what you just
Oh,
said.
I'm sorry. The O'Donnell Square Business District Association has also given its approval, and I have extra copies of that if that has not made the file.
I don't think it is in our file, at least I haven't seen it, so.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I believe there may be a person in opposition who is present.
Okay,
Well,
we'll
that's fine.
let her finish and then.
Okay, as I look for it, I can wrap up at least my argument.
Okay, you can submit it after, if you're finished, after you're
Okay.
finished.
Thank you. Mr. Laskola is a very conscientious, hardworking individual who's done everything he can to do everything that he, oh, and thank you, Doug Kaufman is here from the head of the Community Association to speak. He is an active supporter in the community. He's very involved in the community. This is a conditional permitted use which several other restaurants enjoy on the square. And in order for him to coexist and complement and not lose his business to these other establishments that do provide this entertainment, which his clientele has asked for and somewhat demands, he will continue to lose business. So we request that the board grants this application for live entertainment. And then if I may, if Mr. Kaufman may have a few words.
If you'll step up to the microphone, sir, and raise your hand, please. You have to get close to this.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I affirm. My name is Doug Kaufman with the Canton Community Association.
Okay. Did you want to tell, we have your letter, sir. What would you like to tell us?
From the Canton Community Association's perspective, the previous operator of the building was a bit of a problematic owner. They flouted laws. They didn't work with the community. They were a terrible neighbor, quite frankly. In the 4+ years that you've been operating the bar, not always owning it yourself, but in those years, Mr. Laskola has shown himself to be very open to working with the community, work with the community association. He has a unique situation, or fairly unique situation, that the neighbors down the street from him have had to put up with some pretty terrible situations over the years and had been burned time and time again by the previous operator. And coming into a very difficult environment like that, I think Mr. Laskola has shown great patience, has shown great fortitude, has also shown a lot of compassion for the people on that street, and has been a really good partner within the community to work with us. And that's why we support the application, with the subject to the provision that the memorandum of understanding that we worked out with him becomes attached to the liquor license. So if he ever violates those provisions, that the liquor license, the live entertainment could be pulled.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Leskola, did you want to add anything?
I just want to affirm my willingness and renewed interest as not only an owner in the community, but a partner with the community to continue to conduct business in a professional manner and be mindful of our surroundings and our neighbors.
Okay. Commissioner Greenfield, did you have any questions?
Mr. Laskola, can you speak to any other establishments in the area that may have other live entertainment?
All of the establishments, with the exception of Nacho Mamas and Mamas on the Half Shell, have live entertainment, which I believe includes Looney's, Coladas, Southern Provisions, Shiso Tavern, Portside Tavern, and the Speakeasy. So I am the only one that doesn't, with the exception of. Excuse me? And Dangerously Delicious Pies actually has a live entertainment license as well.
Thank you.
Anything further?
Nothing further.
Okay, if you all would step to this side of the microphone, I'm going to ask the lady who's come in to provide testimony to step up.
I'm sorry, Chairman.
Oh,
I
did
also-
you?
I found the
Okay,
letters from
we'll
the
accept
abutters.
that. That'll be part of the record as well.
Thank you.
Here, got it. Please come forward, ma'am, and come near the mic so we can hear you. And whichever one of you is going to testify.
She's here. We started her early in political activism.
I know it's going to be hard for you to raise your hand while you're carrying that baby.
Just consider
so
my right hand is on
this
is
gentleman
highest,
will
Yes.
ask you.
So.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. I'm Sarah Berman. I reside at 1105 South Curly Street. I'm representing neighbors on the block. There are 6 children, 3 and under, on this block of less than 15 residences. It's a very small street, and while numerous other resident establishments on the square have live music, none have quite the same situation of being attached to a private residence and have so much area on a small street. And so the way the noise corridor is, it comes down into private residences very quickly. I have only resided on the street as long as as Mr. Lascola has been here, so I can't speak to previous owners, but while he's worked with the community association, he hasn't always worked with the neighbors. And we signed an MOU a year ago, and it hasn't always been upheld. And when we've tried to reach out to him regarding the MOU and regarding how things would go for zoning, we haven't always received responses. I won't discredit that he is a responsible owner, but it doesn't mean we want further live music and an expansion of what is going on. What the status quo right now is acceptable to us, and we really are we are very concerned about noise.
Okay. You said that you had an MOU. Who were you? A group of people?
With the community association,
Oh.
the previous MOU was not signed on time. It wasn't up, and it hasn't always been upheld in terms of making people aware of information and changes.
Okay. And were you a party to the current one? Did you get involved at all with this?
We weren't made aware of.
Have you seen it?
No, not the current one.
So you don't know whether you approve. I mean,
I-
it talks about limited to that is the sound, being limited to the interior of the premises, appropriate soundproofing measures being
We've
taken.
been informed that they have conducted that, but until it's tested, we can't
So
speak
you,
to it.
yeah, okay. But let me just ask you, if it works, would you still be in opposition to it?
If it works, I can't speak against it, but we need to see it in practice.
Okay.
Because given the nature of the situation is unique, we need to know that at 10 o'clock, what noise, how loud it'll be on the street at 10 o'clock and how loud it'll be at 1 o'clock or before 1 o'clock when the music turns off, and that it will go off at 1.
Well, as you understand, the community organizations asked us to make these conditions to the license so that if he doesn't comply with the MOU, then they'd be violated and come back here and subject to sanction.
But they violated other MOU.
Well, I don't know if they were. That was. I'm fairly new to this, so
Yeah,
I'm
so
not familiar with that. But we don't have any violations in our record as to this owner.
Okay, well, we've tried to reach out to them and haven't received a response.
I
So
understand. Well,
not with liquor sales, but with noise levels.
and can you work through Mr. Kaufman's organization to get what you're looking for?
We haven't always had a response from the association.
Okay. When you say we, who are you talking about? You and your.
My neighbors,
How many people?
everyone on the block plus surrounding neighbors, and we had 7 people here. We had several people here at the zoning board meeting.
Okay. Ms. James, did you have any questions for Ms. Berman?
I don't have any questions, but I do have.
You have to speak up to the microphone.
I don't have any questions, but I do have. Well, actually, I'm sorry, I do. So you say previous MOU, or you speaking about the previous ownership? of
No,
this bar?
this ownership. We were here over a year ago with the liquor board with an MOU.
Yes.
Hi, Doug again. Just through a couple of things that Ms. Berman said, there is a somewhat unique situation with El Buffalo in that it is attached, it shares a common wall with one residence. It is not the only bar or restaurant in O'Donnell Square that has that same situation, but it is a fairly unique one across the city. Southern Provisions has one, even Portside has one as well. So it's not, again, it's not the only one. We have worked, I think, as a community association, very diligently with the neighbors on that street. We held, in all seriousness, between the Economic Development Committee, between a full board meeting and off-site meetings with neighbors on that block, we probably have met 8 times with the community on that street to talk specifically about items of the MOU. We have been in constant email with that group as well. I was policing that street on St. Patrick's Day. I emailed the group 10 days ago, I guess it was, in preparation for this meeting, just to say, hey, how have things been in the last few months since we've spoken? I got 2 emails back from the neighbors. One of the one who shares a wall with Mr. Lascola saying overall things are going really well. He's been working very well with us. I got another one from a neighbor very positively. I got one email negatively. Quite frankly, that person is always going to take a negative attitude, to be perfectly
Well,
blunt.
we don't, yeah.
So we've worked very well with him. The MOU we've had before, we've had complaints of things not being done, and when you actually investigate it, they have been done. The negative comments that we got from the person on the street said things like the soundproofing was not added to the back of El Buffalo, when in fact it had. So a lot of times they're just false claims that can be proven to be incorrect.
We showed up to the, Sarah Berman again, we showed up to the zoning board having been provided one recommendation, what was made public was changed less than 48 hours in advance, and it was, and without our knowledge, without our.
I'm sorry, I'm not following you. What
So
was,
the number of days with live music has would change significantly right before it was put to a vote, and we weren't able to comment on it. What was made public.
True.
well, I don't know what happened at the zoning board, but they
there was
approved
a-
it.
So previously, things have changed right before, while he spoke that they have been in communication, we tend to, neighbors tend to find out right after a meeting occurs. We don't, honestly, we aren't being told about all the meetings, and we've tried to provide things. I've sent numerous emails about what plans were and didn't get responses in the past.
Okay,
So
well, I mean,
there's a history of not being informed and being informed later. And so there's a significant concern by neighbors. If we will be aware, I'm speaking on the record to voice neighbors' concern. Just so that the board is aware and that we understand that this is conditional.
understand.
So I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I mean, as you understand, we don't have any jurisdiction over the relationship between the neighbors and the community association.
No, and that's not what, and I'm just expressing concern by the neighbors and understanding our role. for
It's
the future.
appreciated.
Just point of order, there was a late letter submitted by Mr. Ritter in regards to El Buffalo.
And is this in support or opposed?
More opposed.
It's I think neighbors who aren't want to be aware, make everyone aware and want to just express concern for the future that we want to, for the community association and for Mr. Lascola, that we want to know that we want him to be diligent.
I appreciate that. And we'll make this a part of the record. Mr. Lascola, I think Commissioner Greenfield had a question for you.
Mr. Lascola, I appreciate all your efforts in undertaking this and working with the Canton Community Association. With respect to Ms. Berman's concerns, however, I just want to make sure that there is a clear line of communication, whether, given the nature of the community, the neighborhood, the homes, et cetera, that you'll have someone, on a shift that's in charge. If it's not you, it's someone else, that if there is an issue, she or her neighbors can readily, get a response from. Is that something that you can,
Yes, sir, and we've always made ourselves readily available, and I've had the same general manager since the inception of the business, who's on site 6 days a week.
Mr. Lascola, are you in agreement? Do you consent to the MOU being made a condition of your license?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything further? No. Well, Ms. Berman, thank you for coming. And what's her name? Celeste, thank you for appearing as well. It's the prettiest person who's arrived since I've been chairman of this board. And we hear you, and we understand that you have concerns. And I think that the community organization is making a good faith effort to try to control the situation. That's a area with a lot of bars, and a tough one to raise a little one in, I suppose. But we hear you, and I think Mr. LaScala hears you, and I'm inclined to approve this request for live entertainment. But I just want you to, and subject to the MOU, and I just want you to be sensitive to the neighbors. They're very close. It's a small, it's a close community.
Yes, sir. Understood.
Okay. I hope that it goes well and that we don't have to have you as our guest for any violations.
Thank you so much for your time.
And I concur as well, based upon the factors in that there is a public need and desire for the license. Clearly, you have competition that has it. I live in the neighborhood. I'm well aware. There are a number of locations of existing license holders that have the same thing as I mentioned. And there is a commonality as well. And I believe, based upon Mr. Kaufman's testimony, your testimony, as well as the MOU, that you've made a number of efforts to safeguard the health, safety, well-being of the community members. I actually also believe that, and I'm hopeful, that the noise control you're putting in will address some of the issues that Ms. Berman and her neighbors are concerned about now, so and in the future. So, based upon those factors, I do concur with the chairman.
Yeah, Commissioner Moore was called away, and so I'm going to indicate her vote as an abstention, and it's approved 2-0. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Do we want to check to see if the commissioner is available?
Mr. Chair, may I have that letter, please? I'm going
You
to put
can
it in
have
the
all
file.
of this.
Thank you, sir. It came yesterday. Let me just put this down. Just stick around for a second. Don't go off anywhere. Here. Miss James. Here, take a look. Just give that back when you're done. Thank you.
What's that? Yeah, it's got a lot of hair.
Everything okay, Jim?
Don't know yet. Working on it. Moving forward. She's on her way down there. She's gonna send me a note. Let me know.
You have to go.
Okay.
Mr. Page?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, call the case of Steve Chait, Richard Frankton Jr., and Fabricio Laco, F&C LLC, trading as Ponkerbird Pub, 1725 Ponkerbird Past. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for request for hardship extension. Mr. Chairman.
Counsel, will you
For
identify
the
yourself?
record, Melvin J. Kanaski, 19 East Fayette Street, representing the licensing.
Good morning. And sir, if you'd raise your right hand, you'll be sworn.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And your name, sir, please?
My name's Steve Chait.
Okay.
This is a request for a hardship extension. The particular location at 1725 Ponkerbird was the old Ponkerbird that was there for many years. I guess some of you might remember, I don't know if you're old enough, everybody here. Next door was the old Carson's Restaurant, was there for years and years. That was sold, and Peterbilt, which is manufactures trucks, bought it. Peterbilt then bought this location, and it's going to enable Mr. Chait to move on. The last day they operated was December 31st, 2015. They've since closed. There's an application for the sale of this license, but it's going to be for a change of location and ownership. If it goes through, fine, but if not, then he wants to have the opportunity to be able to go ahead and dispose of it. It's the last remaining asset that the corporation has. They have disposed of most of the fixtures and equipment. There are some monies that are due the investors, Mr. Chait and Mr. Frankton, of which this would then pay them. If the board was seen fit to grant them a hardship extension, it would be, if you figure 360 days, it would be maybe Christmas of this year that you have to do something with.
Is this gentleman the sole member of F&C LLC?
No, he's not.
Who else are involved with it?
Mr. Frankton is the other member, and Mr. Loco is a city resident.
Okay. So the Ponca Bird Pub is not operating?
No, December 31st, they had the last hurrah for the employees and everything, and they closed. And have an application pending to sell the license. We timely asked for the hardship extension.
And the purpose is to just keep the license viable so that it can be a valuable asset for
Correct.
transfer?
And if it's sold, if the license is approved for transfer, I don't know when you have it scheduled, then that'll won't be necessary. If it's not approved, then he still wants to be able to dispose of the license.
Okay, do the commissioners have questions?
I want to make sure I understand. So Peterbilt has purchased the property where you are currently located, and you haven't been in operation since
December
31st of 15. And so we need to get the sale here once it's on the docket. Okay, I just want to make sure I was
know
clear.
it's pending.
Yeah, no, I
Mr.
understand.
Peter Priebus has the application in.
And you're asking that we grant this and that it be extended to the end of this year? Is that what?
Well, they would have 180 days. They're asking for another 100, just so it's 360 would be 12/31 less 5 or 6 December 25th.
Sometime in
would be the-
December. Okay.
In your own words, what is the hardship?
The hardship is that we're trying to get rid of the liquor license or sell the liquor license. We haven't been able to do that because we haven't been able to get to the docket. You guys, the transfer of the liquor license, there's a hearing on that also that's pending, and we don't know when that's going to be.
Do you know when the application to transfer was filed? Do we have that in our record?
Chairman and Commissioners, there is an application pending to move 1725 Ponca Bird Pass to 1801 East Lombard Street. We have not docketed 1801 East Lombard Street until they have received approval from zoning. It was filed in the June 2016 ad.
So they applied to transfer in June 26, some date in June 2016.
That's
Is
correct,
that
Commissioner.
right? Okay. So, I mean, you certainly definitely, my English teacher would not like that. You applied timely for the hardship. In your words, the hardship is that
That we haven't been able to get to the docket.
And there's the funds that have to be paid from the sale of the licenses. There's some monies that are due the investors, which would be Mr. Chayton and Mr. Frankton, and they paid everybody off, all their employees. Everybody was happy on the 31st. The only people who was left to be paid.
Is us.
But again, Commissioner, they can't get to the liquor board's docket until they clear the zoning board's docket.
I understand that.
so. Okay.
I do understand that.
Yeah. So the
Now I do.
okay. Okay.
Anything further?
Nothing further.
I would grant the hardship extension.
I'll agree. I agree.
I agree as well.
And we'll use December 25th. Is that okay date? It's probably one day either is a day shorter, but I think Christmas is a really nice day.
Well, his testimony was that he stopped on New Year's Eve, December 31, 2015. So why wouldn't that be the date? Is that the date that you stopped operating?
365, and the board only has authority to give him 360 under the statute.
I understand.
Right.
Okay. That's fine. Okay. Thank you very much.
We can go for the 365. It's cool.
I don't want to read about myself in the brew again.
Whatever date you guys decide, you get 180 plus 180.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck. Mr. Page?
Bryson? Calling David Morgan, 3626A Falls Road Incorporated, trading as David's Restaurant, 3626A Falls Road. It's a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. There's a request for a hardship extension under the provisions of Article 2B 10504D.
Is anyone present for this matter? Just to reiterate, this is David's Restaurant's request for a hardship extension. Is anyone present for to present this matter.
Really?
Do we have a provision for,
I know the gentleman, he's not in real good health, and I think he's paid. I'm not representing him, but I know, and, if you look at, I think it's a creative B, is this a creative B?
So there were in the file. There were 2 letters that were sent to his home address and to Falls Road. There was actually a 3rd letter that was sent to another address that we were able to locate. 2 of the letters have came back returned to sender, and we have not received the 3rd letter that we sent back.
I haven't seen it, he handwrote his request, and I know he's not,
he hand wrote something that I had a hard time reading. Can we push this to another docket, to another time, and try and reach him again?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Let's do that to give him an opportunity.
and I do know that.
Would you contact him, please?
I was here and heard.
Thanks. We'll postpone the case.
Case postponed. I've called the case of Gerald Gutierrez Taco Fiesta LLC, trading as Taco Fiesta, 1001 Fleet Street. This is a Class B Beer 1 liquor license, an application to transfer ownership and request for alcohol table service. Please come forward and raise your right hand.
Raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Your name, sir, please?
My name is Gerald Gutierrez.
And are you the owner of the license, sir?
I am.
Anyone else on the license?
Yes, and that's who we're trying to take off. Former business partner William Andrew Niemeyer.
He wants to get off the license, and you're going to purchase his interest? Is that-
Correct. As of January 1st of 2016, the business was transferred into my name solely. It's now a sole member LLC with me as the single member. And we are requesting the transfer into my name solely and also for our continuation of outdoor seating.
Okay, and so you're open and operating at the present time?
Correct. We are open and operating. We've been in operation since 2004 with no changes in management or in operation. I've always been the lead person and main operator. William was more of an investor and never really had any operating duties.
Explain what kind of outdoor service you're looking to add.
When we say add, we're not looking to add anything other than what we currently have. We have 10 seats, 5 tables out there right now. There is a little caveat to that right now we have plans with the city working through where we're trying to take down an 8-foot section of facade wall. And what we want to do is replace those tables with a long eating shelf and high stools looking into the restaurant where the window will accordion out on nice days. And we believe not only for aesthetics and business purposes, but also for, as far as the liquor board is concerned, that we believe we're going to have better control over and monitoring over the drinkers as they will be sitting along here facing us on the inside.
Where on Fleet Street are you? In Harbor East?
We are not on Fleet Street. We're on Exeter, about 4 doors down from
Exeter.
Whole Foods Market.
Okay. And have you been violated in the past?
Never violated, and coming up on 13 years, not even close.
Okay. Do the commissioners have questions?
And I think we were requested to have something from the business community and or the residential community within Harbor East. There are no formal community associations there, but I do have a letter from Harbor East Management and another one from the Waterfront Partnership.
We will accept those. And these are in support of your application?
Correct.
Do the commissioners have questions for Mr. Gutierrez?
I think the question on a transfer is sort of the experience, character, background of the person to whom a license is being transferred. You've been on the license since it began.
Yes.
Really, this is just an application to remove. But can you just tell us a little bit about your experience and your background, just to flush that out, and
Yeah.
so we have a complete record?
Yeah, I've been in restaurant business for over 35 years, started in California, and 1988 was transferred out here with the old Chart House restaurant.
Oh,
this is in Inner
sure.
Harbor. I thought I'd be in and out in 6 months, and 28 years later, here I am in
That's the way Charm
Baltimore.
City is.
You know what? I'm loving it. And I've owned Taco Fiesta in one form or another for coming up on 26 years. I started down in College Park, had my restaurant down there from 1990 to 2002, at which time I moved it up to Harbor East. And we were one of the early pioneers there when there was nothing around us. Now that whole area has kind of grown up around us. And like I said, I'm there all the time. It's my baby. I operate it. Like I said, we've stayed on the good side of the liquor board and, you know, our neighbors down there in the Harbor East area, and we plan on continuing to do so. Again, with our plan for the facade that we want to take down, I don't really know the process we're supposed to do. Those plans are working through the city. Is this something that I'm going to have to come back before you guys?
When you finish here today, you should probably speak to Mr. Page about that, and
Great.
he can tell you what you need to do to get that approved.
Mr. Gutierrez, tell me how you'll monitor differently than you currently do outdoor service with
Right.
alcohol being served.
Well, just the fact that it's opened up, we're taking out that big section of wall, and people are sitting higher looking in as opposed to low tables below window level. We do have staff right now all the time circulating, cleaning tables, checking, you know, that kind of thing. But another thing that property managers want us to do, right now we use a stanchion post to keep everybody up close to the wall. They want something more permanent in there, so that's going to help out a lot too. But again, just the fact that they're sitting up high facing into the restaurant is going to help out a lot.
And will that be year-round?
Well, they'll be out there.
Except when it's
year-round.
snowing or raining real hard, I guess.
We can open it up is
Yeah.
another thing.
I understand.
And again, we will continue with the 10 seats, 5 tables out there until this is completed. So
And there are establishments near you that have outdoor seating as well.
everybody, probably with the exception of one sushi restaurant
And
right
they
there, has.
and those establishments, to your knowledge, do they serve alcohol as well?
Everybody in Harbor East does, with the exception of Starbucks, I believe, who also has outdoor seating. So.
Any further questions?
No,
I would vote to approve the application.
I join in approving.
I concur as well.
Thank you.
Good luck, sir. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Mr. Page is the gentleman at the far end here, and he can give you some advice
Great, thank
or meet with you at another time.
Okay. Good. Do you want me to call it? Not a problem. Calling Barbara Urbach, trading as Grundy's, 718 South Grundy Street. It's a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. This is a request for hardship extension under the provisions of Article 2B, Section 10504D.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. My name's Jonathan Herbst, attorney on behalf of Ms. Barbara Urbach.
Spell that, please.
It's Herbst, H-E-R-B-S-T. First name's Jonathan. Sure, no problem.
Ma'am, if you'll raise your right hand, please. This gentleman will swear you.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Mr. Herbst?
If I may proffer, and after I'm finished, Ms.
Can I ask you to speak up just a little?
Oh,
Because
sorry.
we're on the record.
I was going to say that Ms. Herbach will be happy to answer any questions that you might have, but let me give you a little bit of background first.
Certainly.
So, Ms. Urbach is the surviving spouse of Robert Urbach, who passed away last February. Mr. Urbach had operated Grundy's Bar for many, many years, and after his death last February, Ms. Urbach did continue for a short period to operate the bar. Eventually, it proved a little bit too much for her, and she made the decision approximately October 15th of last year to cease operations at the bar, so the bar is now closed. Prior to that, Ms. Urbach did file an application to place the license in her name as the surviving spouse, which she's permitted to do under the statute as a matter of right. And now we're here requesting a hardship extension. My office is handling Mr. Urbach's estate. Ms. Urbach is the personal representative of the estate. We have been in talks with several prospective purchasers of both the bar and the license. The first two prospective purchasers, if you read my letter, it does reference that there were two. Both of those deals ended up falling through, unfortunately, but we now have a purchaser who is ready and willing to buy the license. I have a letter of intent here that was entered into on March 9th, 2016, and I'd like to offer
It
this
will be
as
made part of the
evidence.
record. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, you'll notice in this letter of intent that it has a closing date of April 15th, I believe it says. It's a non-binding letter of intent, so the parties are still in position to move forward. The prospective purchaser has indicated to my office that he has some concerns about the fact that the license may be expired and has been waiting for this hearing.
Definitive ruling.
Exactly, in order to move forward. So we're here asking for a hardship extension so that we can move forward and enter into a contract of sale, a binding contract with this prospective purchaser, Mr. Gino Kozera. Incidentally, Mr. Kadensky, I don't know if he's still here. I think he left, but he represents Mr. Kozera.
In
who
the
I-
transaction.
Correct. And I believe Mr. Kozera was also here, I think just to see if this request gets approved. And
And he's going to operate Grundy's where it is, at 718 South Grundy Street.
I don't think that's the case, actually. I think they're going to purchase the license, and then there'll be a transfer request and another hearing. But
That's for the future.
exactly. So I think the first step, I know the first step is we just need to make sure we have sufficient time to transfer the license. My reading of the statute is that there's a tolling period from the date that the hardship request was filed. So although it's 360 days from the closure of the bar, which was last October 15th, our actual request for a hardship was filed on March 29th, 2016. I think that's about 105, 106 days that we would respectfully request to be added to the 180-day extension. Probably, frankly, are not going to need that extra time, but these things sometimes tend to take longer than we think. So we prefer to have as much time as possible. So to the extent the board is willing to tack on the extra time, the tolling period from the date of the request until today, that would be appreciated as well.
So have you calculated what that date would be?
Like I said, I think it's 106 days extra time, and so from October 15th, 360 days from October 15th would be October 10th of 2016, and if you add 105 days to that, where does that take us
Early
to?
next year.
Early next year, right.
Okay. Do the commissioners have questions for Mr. Herbst or Ms. Erbach?
I do not.
I don't think you get to add, I don't think you get to calculate the way you've calculated. I think that you closed October 15, you submitted your letter timely. We know that the liquor board was not active.
Right, I understand that.
So that's why it hasn't been heard until today. But I think you get 180 days and then you get another 180 days. But you don't get 180 plus 180 plus 106.
So I'm looking at the statute now. It says the time period begins at the earlier of the closing of the business or cessation of alcoholic beverages, which both were on October 15th, and shall be tolled only upon the filing of an application or request described in paragraph 2. The expiration period to begin running again cumulatively to the time period before the filing of the application or request.
Well, let's put it this way. I think the interpretation of that is probably within your purview. So if we approve the hardship, whatever it is, it will be.
Okay, fair enough. And I think, frankly, it'll probably be enough time if we have until mid-October. I just don't want to have to have any issues that come up that jeopardize the transfer.
It'll be till mid-October or just a couple days beforehand. Like I think maybe the 10th or something like that.
So you may have to
which
light
would
a
be
fire under Mr.
360 days.
Kadensky's client.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
I would be willing to grant the hardship.
I concur.
I agree.
Good luck to you, man.
Thank you very much, Commissioners. Have a nice day.
I think that's our morning docket, isn't it?
Mr. Herbst.
Mr. Page, is that our morning docket?
That is the morning docket.
We'll be in recess until 1. Thank you. Michael, my friend, I want you to meet these two. Page, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I call the 1 o'clock docket. Kevin Young, Touchdown LLC, trading as Touchdown, 1171-73 West Hamburg Street. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.08A, relations with wholesalers on May the 4th, 2016. Violation of Article 2B, Section 13-101E4II. Failure to present up-to-date valid certificate on May the 4th, 2016. All parties testifying, please come forward and raise your right hand.
Okay, so when you speak, please step up to the mic so that we can capture your voice, and the gentleman down to my left will take your name and swear you in.
Raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. Everyone's name.
Okay, so we're all right. Counsel?
For the record, Melvin J. Kadensky, 19 East Fair Street, representing the licensee. This would be a general admission. I've already talked with the controller's office, and most everything we have is a way of mitigation. They did make the purchases from other than a wholesaler. They'll have as much as they can an explanation on the thing. Talk with the officers from the controller's office. They were polite, cooperative, and they'll explain. There are conversations with the licensee and his manager, but we'll make an admission that they did purchase essentially from a liquor store, not from a wholesaler.
Can you identify yourself? Are you going to testify then?
Yeah, I'll testify. I'm Agent Mike Calvert from the Comptroller of Maryland's Office, Field Enforcement Division.
Yeah,
Go ahead, just give a
please.
statement. Okay, on Wednesday, April 27th, 2016, I was contacted by Chief Inspector Mark Bosworth, Baltimore City Liquor Board, in reference to a bar that's suspected of.
Can I ask you to get a little closer and speak up, please?
Okay, how's that? Okay,
Thanks.
I'll bend down. Chief Inspector Foster advised that Touchdown 2, located at 1171 West Hamburg Street, Baltimore City, Maryland, may be in violation of several liquor laws and requested the assistance of the Comptroller's Office, Field Enforcement Division. He further advised that there have been several complaints from residents in the area of the bar referencing loud noise and altercations relating to the bar, and he requested a retail alcohol inspection with me. So we scheduled it for May 4th, 2016 at 7 p.m. We arrived at that location at the Touchdown 2 bar and met with the manager, Andre Cotton, and requested to see the trader's license and the alcohol, the liquor license, which he had. We also had asked for the invoice for the all the alcohol that was at the bar, and upon checking the invoices to the alcohol inventory, we found discrepancies. Do you want me to read off each bottle?
Well, what percentage of it was of the inventory was?
It was approximately 75% of the alcohol that was in the bar could not be accounted for through invoices.
Okay.
So I confiscated beer, Jack Daniel's whiskey, Bacardi's, cognac, tequila, just to name a few, and we took possession of the alcohol, completed the report. Basically, that's. Oh, I did check with Debbie Horwath of Breakthrough Beverage and asked if they had made any purchases through them. She indicated that there was 2 completed purchases on record from the beginning of the year, because I checked from January 1st, 2016. There was 2 completed purchases, one on April 28th and one on May 5th. An order was also placed on April 5th, but that was canceled. They never took possession of that alcohol. So.
And what about the certificate? Did you check that as well, or was that Mr. Foster? On the second violation?
Yes, sir.
That's yours? Okay. Do you want to tell us what happened there?
Okay.
We'll make a mention that they didn't have it at that time, if it makes it easier for you.
Okay.
On May,
Go ahead.
on May 4th, we had repeatedly asked on other visits for alcohol awareness certificate. That was never provided on May 4th. When it was not provided at that time, we wrote a violation for it.
Okay. So, Mr. Cadency, did you want to have your client speak?
I'm basically, this is Mr. Young, and then he was having some problems trying to keep the place going, because he just recently had the place put in his name. The manager was working there, and as always, right in the very beginning, they always say, you know, in the business, they had a case of the shorts. What that means is they couldn't order whole cases and so on. So they made the mistake. They went out and they started buying from liquor stores and so forth. After I'd spoken with them and told them, they have since, and I can show you, there's all kinds of invoices they have. I mean, if you want to care to look at them. Most of these are from the Reliable, Churchill, Republic National. So they're buying now strictly from wholesalers in the business. I think they have the place on the right track. They have an alcohol awareness course was taken, and I'll give you a copy of that. The TIPS training back on May 11th, that certificate is going to be issued. So they'll have, they're in compliance with the alcohol awareness. They have, they're making their purchases through regular distributors. I talked to the officers. They said they were very compliant with them, very cooperative. I don't think you're going to see them again. It was just one of those things that somebody being a new operator and he just wasn't familiar with what has to be done, and they doesn't have a history for this board of having any problems.
So Mr. Young took this license over in 2014?
That's correct, and he had some rough times because he got as a result of sort of a foreclosure open, and while he was open for a while, then he had sort of defaulted on it, and there was another foreclosure, but another person came in and helped him out. He kept the place open in the meantime, and now he's hired a manager, but he's been open, and now he knows to buy, you know, strictly from wholesalers.
And how
That's
long has
alcohol
he
awareness.
been in the business before that? Had he been in the business before?
No, sir.
Yeah.
What did you do before that?
Home improvement.
How about, you're Mr. Cotton? Yes, sir. And, do you have any experience running a bar?
Oh, now I do.
This is your first job?
Yes, sir. You like to think it's like that old saying, once bitten, twice shy.
Do the commissioners have any questions?
Did you want to see these?
Have you seen these, sir? No. Yeah, are you,
Do you wanna-
what of these documents are you offering? Do you want them in the record, or?
They really need them. If you can get a copy of them, get us back to us, have Mr. Ackers bring them down into place.
No, those records. We have just, Mr. Chair, exhibit number 1 was the comptroller's report. Exhibit number 2 are the comptroller photos. Exhibit number 3 is the report written by Mark Foster in regards to this case.
Okay, so those will be received as part of the record. If you want to identify anything that you want to place in the record, Mr. Kadensky.
I would just identify, these were records of purchases they made from various wholesalers with Reliable Church through Breakthrough, which he had mentioned is now the party that they're buying from is the wholesaler. Other than Reliable Churchill, there's not a whole other ones. They're the big boy on the block, and they are buying their beer through their distributors. So I think at this point here, they did it. They shouldn't have done it. They know better now. Their alcohol awareness.
The agent believe they're in compliance at this point?
I do, sir. They were very cooperative, and I truly believe he didn't understand what he was doing. And
Okay.
I think he may have gotten the message down.
Okay.
I don't really have a question. I have more of a comment. But 75% of your inventory being unauthorized or illegal, that's substantial. When did you open? You took over the license in 2014, right? And it was an open and operating establishment.
Yes.
Is there any indication that any of that inventory, 75% is huge to me. That's a B, or is it maybe a C? Anyway, did you acquire the inventory when you took over the license, or did you start fresh?
Well, it was another, I had another business partner that I was working with, and it didn't work out. Actually, he was purchasing some of the inventory, and I wasn't aware because he had previous experience with the liquor business, with packaged goods stores. I automatically assumed that he was doing what was right. So I just followed his lead and
You did what
wrongly.
you did what your partner did, your former business partner did, and now you.
I just wasn't aware that
long as the alcohol was being purchased, then it was okay because I had receipts for the stuff that was there, so I didn't understand how it was a problem.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about your record keeping now, that you're aware that this is an issue?
Yes, well, I have
Tell
a
us about that.
I have a manager operating the business and making sure that everything is done properly.
Okay, is that the person to your right?
Yes, along with another female.
Okay. How often are you at the establishment?
Before I wasn't there much, maybe like 50% of the time, in and out, but now I'm dedicating more time to make sure that.
Okay. I mean, I'm no, I don't have as much experience as Mr. Kudensky, and I don't think I ever will, but in my time paying attention to these issues, problems arise when there's essentially an absentee owner or licensee.
I can tell you right now, it won't happen again.
Okay. And just for all matters related to this license and its operation, you got to be present.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And in reference to what you were asking, it wasn't like there was cases and cases of things. If you looked, there was like 9 Budweiser, 12 Coors Light. And this is one like a mega bar. Although they have Jack Daniel's Honey, so that they're all right there in Crown Royal, so they seem to be buying the right stuff. But it wasn't like tons and tons of things. Although what they had, 75% was bought from King's Liquors, which is a liquor store in Baltimore County. You'll see him on TV all the time, the guy.
Yeah, Mr. Young, so you avoid a case of the shorts again, which is a classic term I've never heard of before. Thank you. Mr. Kudensky is always introducing us to new alcohol lingo. Can you just walk me through your current now ordering process, inventory process when you order new inventory? Oh, whoever does.
And you need to speak to the
if you could.
microphone.
Thank you.
Well, like I said at the beginning, I didn't know. So
Sure.
once they showed me, I was kind of like glad they came in because I didn't know. So once they showed me, we just go to all the manufacturers that with the liquor. I'm sorry, never talked
okay.
before, but we go to all the
There's a beverage journal.
beverage
Okay,
places.
that's what I'm. Okay.
We have the paper, but me and my fiance, that's who was the manager. We don't go outside of that at all, no more at all.
Okay.
Period. Like if we don't have it, we just don't have it. Sometimes they don't have it, and we need it. We still don't go out and buy it.
Okay.
So that's how we've been doing it.
All right.
And the liquor that we had, that 75% of the liquor that we did have, the majority of that liquor was already there. Because like I said, we took over it. We like started working after the fact.
So you took it over from
Yeah, and
2014 and it
from his
remained.
other partner, yes. And that liquor, honestly, we was gonna like give it back, but they never came and got it. So it was already up.
Okay.
Never sold anyway. So
I don't know whether anybody in the sport has ever seen a beverage journal. Do you get them, don't you? So you ought to let them. It shows you. It's really interesting, especially like if you're a wine drinker. I'm not putting anything. It tells you Argentinian wines, where and who has them, what distributor, and how. That's how you have to order them. When you call, you have to call in and tell them. You have to give them your sales tax number, and they have to verify that you're registered as an alcoholic beverage dealer before they'll deliver it. But a lot of them won't. If you don't order like whole cases and stuff like that, you're sort of like on the back end of the burner, if you order just 6 of something. So I think now they got the thing going a little better there. And he's keeping them. I'm going to keep a book with them, keep the receipts.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just have one more question. What would you do if someone came in with a bottle of Jack Daniel's and said that they bought it from you, but then they decided they didn't want it and they want to return it, but they don't have a receipt?
We don't sell packages.
You don't sell? Right. Okay, so it's all consumption on site?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything further?
Nope.
Okay, the violations of Rule 40.08A, relations with wholesalers, and Article 2B, Section 13-101, E4II, not having a current certificate of alcohol awareness. We find the violations based on the admissions, and I would impose a fine of $500.
Is that a fine of total 500?
Well, I think there's an administrative fee.
Right, right. Okay, I agree. $500 fine for both the violations. Okay.
Total, I concur.
Total.
And then a week or 30 days?
30 days, I'm
30
sorry.
days, sorry.
I should say that. Thank you for reminding me.
All right, you understand that? And if you don't pay it, you don't have to worry about selling anything.
Worry about us coming in front of this board again either.
Good. Good luck to you.
Good luck.
Calling Alexander Abreu and Maria Hernandez, El Estanco LLC, trading as El Estanco, 45 North Crescent Street.
Please come forward to this side. And all those who are going to testify, please raise your right hands.
Do you swear or affirm, raise your right hands, do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do.
And would each of you step up to the microphone and give us your name, please? Okay.
My name is German Dimas.
What was that? No, slow. Come back. You guys spell it.
Okay. My name is German Dimas.
How do you spell your last name, sir?
D.
I got the first name, I didn't hear I got the last name, what's the first name?
German, like country.
German, like the country. Okay.
My name is Joseph Burtwell.
Birdwell, sir?
Yes, Burtwell.
Okay. Mr. Fossler?
Yes, sir. Mark Fossler, Chief, Baltimore City Liquor Board.
And
These people.
pardon me, Mr. Chair. These aren't the licensees.
No.
Oh, where are the licensees? What is your relationship to the bar, sir? Pardon? Where is Mr. Abreu and Ms. Hernandez?
She's I buy the bar like 1 year, but it's not in my name. It's in her name. But right now I run the bar.
So you're running the establishment. That's bad. Okay.
This is very bad.
Yeah. ¿Dónde está Alexander Abreu? Abreu. ¿Tú eres? ¿Tú no eres? ¿Sí?
German, yes.
No, Alexander Abreu. ¿Tú no eres? ¿Sí? Okay. ¿Y Maria Hernandez?
She's not here to testify.
We can't hear this case.
So what should we do?
We've given. Actually, can we?
Okay, we're going to take a brief recess. We'll be back.
Can we recess? No, we need to just put on the record what we've done. Are we gonna?
Well, this is
open?
no, this is
We're not gonna violate.
quasi-judicial because this isn't the issuance of a license. This is a violation here.
Okay, I just don't want to violate open meetings.
no,
That's
no.
all. That's all. Okay.
If this was a transfer, different story.
Okay.
Recall the case.
You want me to recall? Recalling Alexander Abreu and Maria Hernandez, El Estanco LLC, trading as El Estanco, 45 North Crescent Street, 21224. There's a violation of 4.05 prohibited hours.
Gentlemen, it's come to our attention that the licensees are not present, although they were properly served through their employees at an earlier date for this hearing date. But we're not going to be able to go forward today. I need to have an investigation of the status of this license and the operation of the El Estanco. So we'll continue it, and the case will come back at a later date after there's been an opportunity for our staff to determine exactly the status. And in the meantime, I'd ask you two gentlemen to speak with Mr. Akris, and he will provide you with information about where we go from here. Okay? Thank you. I guess, yeah.
You complete the investigation. There was some issues. You probably figured them out. What?
Ms. Page?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Frederick Allen, Park Reed Inc., trading as Drinkery, 203-09 West Reed Street. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.07E, open containers, illegal possession, and consumption of alcoholic beverages on April the 30th, 2016. All parties, please come forward and raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimonies you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
For the record, Melvin J. Kanensky representing Park Reed Inc., trading as a Drinkery.
Good afternoon. Do you need anybody's names?
I need the two.
Would each of you please recite your names into the microphone?
Amy Miller.
Larry Ebener. Ebener, Evener.
Is this going to be an admission, Mr. Konecki, or not?
I just want to maybe take some testimony. I don't think it's that much. That's not that long, I don't think.
Okay. Please.
Detective Abraham Gatto, Baltimore City Voice. On 4/30/2016 at 01:40 hours, Detective Chris Amalis and myself were in the what would it be, the 200 block of West Reed Street. We were making, I would say, covert observations of the Drinkery due to numerous complaints to their office, to our office, from citizens in the neighborhood stating that there were a lot of people coming in and out of the bar drinking alcohol on the sidewalk. As we arrived there, we parked in the block. I made an observation of approximately 12 patrons standing outside. During the course of observing these individuals, a male exited the Drinkery, 203 West Reed Street. He was later identified as Mr. Lee, and he gives a date of birth of 11/15/80 of 1800 Maryland Avenue. I exited the vehicle, approached Mr. Lee. He was holding a alcoholic beverage, which was excuse me. It was a mixed drink, cranberry and rum. I asked him if he had any photo identification, which he did. He had his Maryland photo identification driver's license. I memorialized that, sent him back into the bar, explained to him why he couldn't be on the sidewalk. Went inside, and I believe I have the name right. It's Mr. Even. He was claimed to be the night manager.
Is that this gentleman here, too? Ebener?
Okay, I'm sorry. The way it was written down by my partner here. Anyways, excuse me, Inspector Chris Amalis spoke with him, explained to him what had occurred. I also jotted down the different paperwork for the liquor license. We explained to him what we found. I asked him if he had any security, which would help prevent these kind of things happening because, as I said, when we were there, people coming in and out, which is fine, but they're holding alcohol is a different story. He said he didn't have any security, but that he did advise his patrons from time to time not to take alcohol outside, and obviously they did not listen. I didn't write a citation for Mr. Lee. We merely told this gentleman here that we were going to write everything down and forward this report to the liquor board.
Mr. Konecki, do you have questions for the detective?
Throughout this whole event, the people were cooperative, is that correct?
Everyone cooperated, yes.
And then, are there any signs, did you see any signs in there that says, don't take drinks outside? Did you remember? If you didn't see them or you don't remember, that's...
No, that was never mentioned or
Okay.
observed.
But you mentioned to him that possibly a security guard at the door would
help.
prevent.
Yes.
Prevent it. And the fellow that had the drink itself in his hand, he didn't pose any problems to you, is that correct?
Completely cooperative.
Did they take the drink from him, or?
No, I actually sent him back in the bar. I didn't take it from him. I said, go back inside. I was trying to kind of prove a point because there was a lot of people observing, and he wasn't combative or argumentative at all.
All right. I have no further questions.
Is there any?
I don't have anything additional.
Okay. Did you want to present any evidence,
Well,
Mr.
I just, for the record, make a motion on the basis of the most recent case, the Kugel case, where, there's no testimony that anybody allowed this to happen, and that's how the law was reading in the case that came down from the Court of Appeals, saying that the normal reading would be you'd have to know that somebody permitted or allowed it to happen, and there's no testimony as to that in this case. And I'll submit on that. I don't have the citation on Kugel because it was just came out in June.
motion will
Kugel
be,
versus Board of Liquor License Commissioners, Baltimore City.
the
I have a
motion,
copy here. I mean, it's
we're aware of it, but I'm going to deny the
it's a
motion.
good case, I thought.
I imagine you
Argued that
did.
for years.
Sure you did.
Okay.
I'm going to deny the motion, so do you want to present any evidence?
We'll submit, and after the board makes its findings,
Okay. Based on the evidence that was presented by Detective Gatto, I would find a violation of Rule 4.07E and impose a fine of $250.
and let me say that
What's the fine, Mr. Chairman?
$250, 30 days.
Thank you.
that they've now posted signs, do not take drinks outside. St. Miller's going to eventually have the license
I
transferred.
wanted to ask about
What's
that.
happening
As I recall, you're the niece of the current licensed
Granddaughter.
and Fredsbury, the problem is we've got to talk with, it's a financial situation from one LLC to another, how they want to structure it. And they're going to have security there 5 nights a week.
We do already.
You know, to do that, and they have, you know, things like please respect the neighborhood. So they're on the right path here.
That's fine. And the other commissioners haven't
I
ruled.
think Mr.
You know, the right path isn't good enough right now, quite frankly. And if I could, you've come before this commission on a protest. You guys had your license brought back, and you don't have security. You understand. You've heard about the community concerns. I just think that this is unacceptable, and I'm going to differ with the chairman on this one. While I respect him, obviously, I'm going to suggest a $500 fine. And I absolutely encourage you, and I know the staff has done the same, that this transfer happen as soon as possible.
Right.
Because this establishment has been a problem and is a continued problem. And I said the last time that you came before us, I hope not to see you again on a violation, and you're here in front of on us on a violation. And so I want to give you the max. I think you're deserving of the max. You need security, you need lighting, you need to control this establishment.
I had a question as to where Mr. Allen is. He's not here.
He's 90-something years old, he's home suffering from the heat and not in really good health. That's why we're trying to make the transfer.
Okay, what is the status of the transfer? And that's not why we're here, but I'm curious as to where that is.
There's a question of how physically it happens. There was a question of whether Ms. Milner's going to buy into the LLC. Since it's such an old LLC, I think the accountant is now recommending that there be a transfer from one LLC to another LLC, which we're in the process of going ahead and doing. We thought for a while that Mr. Allen was going to stay on the license as a city resident. I said ixnay on that. That's another term.
Is that a liquor store?
Ixnay, noxnay, and ixnay. And
It's on the
now we're gonna get somebody
cartoons.
else to go on there. So that was it. And just to remember, this happened before that hearing. You know, but
I'm hearing this now, and so.
No.
It
was April. I'm just.
No, I understand the timing,
Got it.
Mr. Knapp. I understand it.
So, I concur that there was a violation, and this is to staff. Do you remember what fine we assessed last week or 2 weeks ago when there was, I don't recall the licensee, but someone had slipped by with an open bottle of beer?
I do
You
not.
don't recall. I want our decisions to be in a line. I feel very much the same sentiment that Commissioner Greenfield expressed. There's enough knowledge now for you all to get great control over the comings and goings of your guests. And so much of what people are complaining about is what comes out of the bar. And you're in 100% control of how things come out. So I am going to agree to impose a fine of $250 because I think that is what we imposed for a very similar violation just last week or 2 weeks ago. And it's because I want our decisions to be in alignment and not out of scale. If you were the first one that we would hear, I would have gone with with Commissioner Greenfield and imposed the $500. But I would concur with the commissioner, with the chairman. I find the violation, impose a $250 fee plus the administrative fee, and you're well aware of what y'all need to do,
Right.
so you don't come back.
30 days.
Thank
And
you.
just for the record.
And this will be received in evidence.
Okay, thank you. That's the investigation report, exhibit number 1, and the police report.
Yes, sir.
I think last week it was $250.
It was 150.
Might have only been 100, but it wasn't 500. Yeah, okay. All right. $100. I'm going to start my own chart. Oh, they had, oh, right. I wish, yeah, that's true. I'll do better next time.
You ready to go?
Yeah. Calling next case, Tanya Ramos, La Rumba LLC, trading as La Rumba, 1650 to 54 East Pratt Street, 21231. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. This is a violation of Rule 3.12 General Welfare.
Good afternoon. Do we have someone on this as well?
Yes, Chief Foster's coming up.
Oh, okay. Sir, would you raise your right hand, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Your name?
My name is Nicolas Ramos.
And you're not Tanya Ramos.
It's my wife, and she don't feel good, but I manager of La Rumba.
Okay. Do we have a problem with that?
It's a similar problem that we have, Mr.
We proceeded with the drinkery, and that licensee was not here, so
Yeah.
if he understands what we're doing.
Do you understand why we're here, sir?
Yes, sir.
Can't do it
Okay.
both ways.
Let's go forward,
This
Mr.
is, I mean, I don't think.
Fossler.
Yes, sir.
I think we, I don't know.
Chief Mark Foster, Baltimore City Liquor Board. On Sunday, May 22nd, 2016, the Liquor Board received 311 complaints alleging loud music at La Rumba. At approximately 6:15 p.m., staff responded to complaints, observed the establishment for approximately 30 minutes. Both doors of the establishment were open. Loud music could be heard emanating from La Rumba while standing in the median of South Broadway and while standing on the opposite side of La Rumba, East Pratt Street. I entered the establishment, identified myself, and asked to speak to the manager. The male who identified himself as Jay came to speak to me, advised him of the complaints and what I had observed. Jay said he'd only been working at La Rumba a short time and was not aware of any problems. I instructed Jay to close both doors and decrease the music volume. I explained that I was issuing a violation for loud music. Jay complied with my instructions. I departed at approximately 7 p.m. without further incident. I listed the 311 complaint numbers.
Do you have any questions for Mr. Fossler?
No, he's right, and have Jay, and I tell the manager and the bartender they make sure have no problem and load the music and close the door and window. Sometimes the windows is open, and I tell them very clear we don't want any problem.
Okay, before we proceed further, I'm going to admit the investigation report and the inspector's report as exhibits 1 and 2. So, Mr. Ramos, do you run this facility?
Yes.
Okay. And according to our sheet, there's a history of violations here in the last 2 years. First of all, you accumulated about $2,000 in fines already this year and $750 last year.
That's correct.
And why?
Honest with you, it's I there all the time, and the problem was the hot water. We was here and explaining everything, and we were running the bar. I think professional have another bar, restaurant across the street. Arcos is closed and sold, and the business was real bad. And I there all the time, and no another like big issues and. Was a little no understand. I think I try to be the best I can right there in the business and running. It's a bar and people complain all the time. people send health department, send the police, call all the time for noise. You know, it's like people maybe, like the body there for many years, and I there for 10 years, and across the street for another 10 years. I am the Hispanic Commissioner, and I am the neighborhood president of the Hispanic Commissioner, and I try to keep clean and nice and the best I can in the area.
Commissioners have questions?
Mr. Ramos, did I hear you say that you do now or used to own the bar across the street? Did you say that?
Yeah, across the street was Arcos for many years,
And is Arcos...
Mexican restaurant, and also why I buy across the street, because I try to fix it. Arcos was top in the line restaurant where I make no money and running for 10 years, and I run the buy across the street, and now Arcos is sold, it's closed. I concentrate 100% on Rumba and try to fix it and clean and make it nice. The neighbor around is a big problem because they already have like training program in the area where there's a lot of the people with problem in the street, and I try to do my best I can. You know, people try to go into the bar, and I there and have security manager, and the music was around 6 o'clock, not really late, and was Sunday. It's not like 1 o'clock in the morning or midnight, and I usually keep the music.
I have a question for you. So you were before this commission, this board, on March 10, 2016, and you were given a 60-day suspension, or this bar was given a 60-day suspension. You recall that, right? And you were closed for 60 days.
Mm-hmm.
You recall that?
Really horrible.
And so it looks like you maybe opened around mid-May of 2016.
Yes.
Does that sound right?
Yes.
And so within less than 2 weeks, you're back with another violation. And so something's happening, or something's not happening. The history of violations, it's expensive. You've had substantial fines, yes, and you've had a 60-day closing.
Mm-hmm.
And yet it seems that the operations that are causing problems that are leading to violations aren't changing. They're still existing.
Just to you understand, because I think I know saw you when I was here in the court, and I knew it with all the respect and the less time, they visit my bar 3 times and the same month, in February 5th. And
your bar can be visited every single day of the week. If people call and complain, then this board is obligated to go out and investigate. So I don't think the problem is the frequency of the visits by the liquor board. It's the frequency of the problems that people are complaining about.
I own across the street, again, they have the property Arcos 139 South Broadway and have 131 South Broadway. I sold 131 South Broadway, and the neighbor, the people that I buy, it's like against me all the time. I look like people call all the time for really no reason, because I again, you know, I did with the close the door and close the windows and try to insulation around the window to the music, and I tell very clear to my employees to have the music low. You know, it's a bar, but I agree with the inspector. Is here in the middle of the.
Is the place air conditioned?
Hmm?
Is the La Rumba? Is there air conditioning?
Have a problem with the air condition and this yeah, I fix it. I fix it and have a problem with the air condition because it's old and it's up and down work, and I'm pretty sure it's why they open the door.
And the reason I'm asking is, like, you can't have loud music and open doors and open windows, and that was the circumstance when they investigated or responded to a complaint on May 22. It's a perfect storm
right,
for.
The air condition was a problem. Yes.
And has it been fixed?
Yes. The air condition fixed it, and have a freon and.
Now, how often is your wife present at the bar in terms of the operations?
Like 2-3 times a week, but not really in the night time. So I stay in the night time just to check the bar and make sure it's okay. My wife is have a work, and she work, and I do the manager, and also I have another manager, Jay, was working with me.
All right, I think those are all the questions that I have for you.
Mr. Ramos, I'm also very troubled by your history of violations. Have you spent any time working with the community association?
With the Spanish Business Association, we had meeting, but I don't have I don't assist at the meeting of the Fall Point Association or Upper Fall Point Association before I did it. But now we have another organization, Broadway Business Association. We meet every month, and we talk about issues. We talk about problem, and.
But do you meet with all the organizations in and around where your establishment is?
Not with the all other, but I really, if I need it, I can go and speak with the president of the other.
I'd encourage you to do so.
Okay.
You know, there seems to be a theme and a history. Most of your violations concern general welfare, noise, and sanitation, and these are really, I think, pretty significant community concerns. And something's got to change. How much time do you spend, if your wife is there 2 to 3 times a week, and you're there every night?
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Okay. And have you had the same staff, the same managers?
No, this guy was new. It's
Okay.
new. And before I have another one manager, they stay like to open to close. And I usually go every day in and out, but I stay to close.
Were you there when Mr. Fossler came into the restaurant on May 22nd?
I come late. He was around 6:30.
Was your wife there?
No, because we have a family reunion this
Okay.
day, this Sunday.
Okay.
We usually go to the church, and then we have dinner, and then come to the place.
Okay. I have nothing further.
Anything further?
I wanted to hear just about. I'm trying to get some understanding of like what's happening here. So I wanted to hear about the previous violations. Like what were they? Like of 3.09, 3.02. Is there anybody that can talk about the history of this place? Perhaps Mr. Inspector Christomalis. I just wanted to get some history, some detail of what the prior violations
You've
were.
already been sworn, Inspector.
For the past few months, Mr. Ramos here had a shaky road. We had gone in there, like he said, numerous times within a month period. Different reasons every time. One was with the social task force, which involved the health department, and they were on the list. So we go, whoever's list it's on. A lot of the times we were there was for 311 complaints, and I've explained that to him that if I get 3 calls in one night, I'll be there 3 times that night. I mean, it's just how it goes. A lot of the health violations were corrected. Health department did reissue him his health department. Since the chief went on the last 311 call, I don't recall us having another 311 complaint since then. So it's been a couple months since we've gotten any 311 complaints from the establishment.
Okay. All right.
Want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. So to me, it's very clear that there was a violation. So I do find that there was a violation of Rule 3.12 General Welfare because on May 22, 2016, there was loud noise. The doors are open, the windows are open, and they should not be. What I'm having trouble with is determining what the penalty should be. So let me hear if the others are in agreement, and then we'll talk about penalty.
It's difficult. I'm trying to figure out, Mr. Amos, I don't want to be punitive if you're trying to do the best thing, but on the other hand, you have a very bad record. So it doesn't seem like the suspension cured it or all these fines cured it. On the other hand, this incident is not all that significant. You were cooperative and whatever. It's difficult. I would, again, impose a $500 fine, and I would impose a 10-day suspension. 30 days to pay the fine.
I honestly don't know what to do with you because what do you think we ought to do? What would you do if you were sitting here?
With you, I think the before is why I kept, I spent time with a lawyer and everything, and I was screaming and yellow to the police because it wasn't unfair. They 3 times come to my place with no call. Was no call 311. They just was checking the bar, but was 3 times in the same month. And I really, have, we not only.
Here's
me.
what I'm going to suggest. I'm going to concur with the chairman with the $500 fine and the 10-day suspension. And I don't believe we have the authority to impose or require mediation or some community reconciliation or community conversation. We can't impose that, but I believe that that's the solution. I do. I believe that you, as a business owner, need to find a way to align your business practices with the norms and the mores of the neighborhood. And you need to have a conversation about what that is and what that would look like in terms of how you operate. Because it doesn't make any sense for you to keep coming back and we close you and impose a fine, and then you reopen and then you go right back to the same practice. So there has to be something that changes your practices. I strongly encourage you during that 10-day closure to find some way to communicate with the neighborhood. I believe that we have staff that would be helpful with that. At a minimum, we can tell you who the community liaisons might be. We can't require it, and I'm not saying that that's part of the penalty, but just I am saying that I think that that would be a really smart thing to do so that you don't come back. So I concur with the imposition of a $500 fine. I concur with the 10-day closure. All this other stuff is just extraneous. It's not a requirement, but I think it's good advice.
The really, hurt me with the 10-day close. They already closed 60 days, and I really, maybe close for all. It's really hard to run business with clothes, and I thought, and the music really is not really a big discotheque or dancing place. It's not really, only because you're right, while the air condition works, and I bring a couple fans and close the door and really was all the business in Baltimore hurt because what happened last year in May with Freddie Gray, and hurt because the casino is open and they have 24 hours open. The business really need help, not only me. I'm talking we need help, working together with the liquor board, working together with the health department. All the business right there is making no money, not really money. And it's already closed. Latin Palace already closed. Confetti is already closed. More than 7 business, Latino business. And the mayor tried to bring more people here to open business and houses and everything, but really no work. We are in a real dangerous situation in Baltimore where you can see the blood behind Rumba is drug, is prostitution, is kill people all the time.
Let me ask you.
It's a big problem.
Could either the chief or inspector, since this violation and it's only been 2 months, but have there been are there any additional violations that we need to hear that are coming up?
No, not currently, Commissioner. We haven't had, as best as I can remember, we haven't had any additional complaints about this establishment. And there's no,
There's nothing pending.
there's nothing pending.
All right, well, I mean, let me defer to
No,
Commissioner.
I am troubled. I am challenged by your situation. I think, though, it comes back to one important point that you didn't mention about who to work with and that Commissioner Moore focused on, which is the community. You spoke about the police, you spoke about the liquor commission, you talked about the health department. If I could, I think you absolutely need to sit down and have, whether it's a mediation or some form of a dialogue, so everyone's on the same page. While you may not think that the music is very loud, it's disturbing the community around you in some sense, as an example. As much as I don't like to suspend your sentence, or suspend your license, that is, I don't know what else to do to change this situation for you, and to really show you that this commission is very serious about this and the history. So I'm going to concur with the chairman for $500 and a 10-day suspension, and encourage you strongly to meet with the community and engage in some kind of dialogue.
Again, you can double check with me, and I was walk with the police, not only meeting every month in St. Patrick. I was in the governor commission, here, chairman of the Hispanic Commissioner, working with the mayor, work with everybody in the neighborhood, and try to do better for the community. But just put the other way, if you have some enemies, somebody that really not like you, because I was running, two good places, and then if you have sometimes, people sometimes they just call for call. They just call because really wanna hurt you, and they did. They really hurt me. It's no, can be the same person. Like before I have an Arcos in the third floor, a lady, she no pay me the rent for 6 months. And for 6 months, she was calling and calling and calling because she don't want to pay the rent. And she was a tenant, living the third floor, calling because the noise, calling because health department, calling the fire department. She sent a email to everybody, and really was hurt me, and have a bad reputation. But really, I don't think it's fair. I think $500 is fair, but close again 10 days, it's a little bit too much, really.
Okay,
because
so
I mean,
I'm troubled by it, because I don't think closing you is going to change, and we need a change. I would be, and I want to say this before we leave, because I would be willing to impose a $500 fine and a 5-day closure. We're not trying to have you go out of business. We're trying to have you be better business, and I don't know if the other commissioners would be willing to join in that, but the point is, you got to change. You have to change. Do you understand that?
I do it.
You have to, and you cannot blame the police, and you cannot blame someone who doesn't like you. If somebody doesn't like you, but you're in compliance, what difference does it make? Do you understand? So I'm willing to I will change my thinking based on your plea, the history of what's happened since Freddie Gray. I know that businesses are challenged. I'm willing to change my imposition of the fine. I'm willing to reduce it to 5 days. But I don't know if the others were willing to
I'll
change.
agree with that. That's fine.
All right, so it's $500, 5-day closure. You got the administrative fee. I would suspect 30 days in which to pay. But if the office is there to help facilitate conversation that will change the conduct. Okay?
Thank you very much. And
You're very welcome.
I just want to let you know that I really fixed the place, and I really changed the place, and it's complete. It's like a completely renovation. It's like painting.
Get in compliance, we'll have a meeting there. But you got to get in compliance first. Okay? All right.
Chairman, when do you want the suspension to begin? Immediately?
Yes.
Can it start on Monday, the suspension at least?
Monday's fine.
because-
Monday's fine.
Because now it's a weekend.
It's
Okay.
Monday's fine.
Okay.
Monday is fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So it's the 18th.
The 18th
Yeah,
would be
that'd be the 18th.
July 18, so that whole week, 18, 19, 20, 20, July 18 to July 22,
You wanna
right?
put it on the record?
Yeah,
Yes, I'm sorry, what were the dates again?
July 18 through
July
22.
18 through 22 for the suspension.
We did 30 days. Okay. Just want to be sure. Thank you.
So we can help him, try.
I'm sorry.
We can try to help him.
Call the next case, Mr. Chairman, Samrit Dedachonako and Rajwant Kaur, 1269 Washington, Inc., trading as Chris Liquor and Grill, 1269 Washington Boulevard. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, here for violation of Rule 4.07E, open containers, illegal possession, and consumption of alcoholic beverages on April the 15th, 2016. All parties testifying, please come forward and raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
For the record, Melvin J. Kanensky, 19 East Fayette Street, representing the licensees.
Can you ask the ladies to come forward and state their names, please?
Rajwant Kaur.
The licensee, Rajendra Kaur.
Jashanpreet Kaur. JASHANPREET. The last name's Kaur, KAUR.
You want to write it down for you?
Last name is what?
Kaur,
Same.
same as the.
Same.
Second verse, same as the first.
Okay. Is this going to be an admission, or is this going to be?
No, I think once you hear the testimony, we have some video, I think might be interesting for you.
Okay.
No, I'll forget that, you'll get it upstairs.
I look forward to it. Mr. Foster?
Chief Mark Fossler, Balmer City Liquor Board. The 311 complaint line have received multiple disturbing the peace allegations for Chris Liquors and Grill on Friday, April 8, 2016. Inspector Chris Miles responded to a 311 complaint at 1269 Washington Boulevard. He had described the area of the 1200 block of Washington Boulevard and Carey Street as being extremely dangerous. Based on his assessment, I scheduled a special investigation of this establishment in conjunction with cooperation from Baltimore Police Department Vice Unit. So on Friday, April 15, 2016, at approximately 11 p.m., Sergeant Lesher, Detective Greenhill, Detective Gatto, and Inspector Chris Amalis and I initiated an investigation. While we were pulling up to the establishment, I observed an African-American male exit the establishment drinking from an open can, 24-ounce Bud Ice. He continued to drink from the can and proceeded south on Carey Street. After observing the establishment for approximately 40 minutes, we entered the establishment, identified ourselves to the operator, Mr. Singh. He explained we explained the violation and inspected the establishment. We departed at approximately 12 a.m. without further incident. At the time, the bar was open and operating. Packaged goods are also sold.
Questions for
Just
Mr.
the gentleman that had the open container, did you see him come out of the
exact
place, or
same
you just
thing.
saw him on the street?
I saw him walk out of the door.
Exact
Was
same
it
thing.
a container he had
You can't do
in a
that.
bag, or was it just loose?
I saw. I can believe that it was. I believe it was partially out of the bag. I think that's how I identified that it was Bud Ice.
And then did you see him open it?
No.
So when you saw him, it was already open?
Yes.
Did you stop him at all?
No.
So what do you know? Do you know if he brought it into place?
No, sir.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Anyone else? Okay.
I think that in the case here so far, we don't know whether that individual bought the, whatever it was, the Bud Ice into place. Same thing, back to the court, whether they were permission or allowed him, or where he came from, other than he came out of the store. Could have been he went in and they just said you can't have an open container and left. So there's no evidence here that, he bought it or they allowed him to go ahead and have the open container.
I think they're reasonable inferences, so I'll deny the motion.
Now, we'll have no further testimony now with all inferences in favor of the licensee. We would then concur, and also we have some video here of what happens. Can you, I don't know whether you guys can see this or not.
I was wondering how you were going to show us video. I was wondering how you were going to show us video.
He's got to go get like a group hug here. You can see.
No, thank you.
You want to see? What do you? Color.
Could you help her? Yeah. It takes a young person to.
Oh, excuse me.
Listen, my granddaughter taught me how to use my iPhone when I first got it. I was like, "How do we? I just got to call your grandfather. It's time to pick him up." She's like, "What's the number?"
Okay. Can we?
It's basically a lady. She comes in with a can of beer. We didn't see it, but when she came in, she ordered something, so we put it in a bag and gave it to her. But when she walked out, like, she put the can that she had from before coming into the store, she put it, like, on the door. That's when they walked in.
If you watch it through, you'll see them walking right behind that.
So was it a woman, Mr. Foster?
No, as I just testified, it was an African-American male exit the establishment, not a woman.
This is a Caucasian woman.
But you didn't see him buy it in there.
Did not.
Okay. And what I'm trying to point
So you're
out,
suggesting this is a pattern in practice?
some people come and they put it and they go in and that's when they wrap it in the bag, leave it, and they pick another one up and they leave. And I'm going to further let you know, reciprocal. This lady here has gotten with the people and tell them they can't do it. Show them the picture when the man shoves your mom when he tells her that you can't be doing that. He shoved her out of the way, had to call the police. You have people come in that they bar and they tell them they can't do it, and you'll see where she's trying to talk to him, he just shoves her out of the way and runs out the door.
Good Lord.
Chairman, I think Detective Gatto can probably illuminate some of the video.
If that video is accurate, the white female that you see in there is a secondary individual who I pulled over as the team went in. I stayed outside of the establishment for the majority of the time because it was very hot in there. But I documented her information, so that's where this is coming from. What Chief Inspector Foster was saying was the original individual that we observed while we were sitting in our car, made us exit the vehicle, was the male that was initially mentioned, and not this female, as we discovered that that's what she was doing, laying her can down next to the entrance of the location.
But let me just ask you.
Go ahead.
You didn't see the person who purchased the Bud Ice in the place. Do you know it was Bud Ice, the black male?
No, I couldn't answer that. No.
And I submitted here, and when we were talking about other complaints, here's inspectors' reports where complaints are made and people, they're all unfounded when people show up. It's a
Right.
kind
Do
of.
these relate to this place?
Yes.
Okay.
And what happens is, this lady tries to run a good ship there, and people really take her advantage. She has signs, no taking things out, and when you saw the man almost accosted her and knocked her down. And then people come in and they'll put a bottle outside or down there, and then, or they won't let them come in with them. And she said, you can't do that, and then they'll push them on the side. So I think in this case, the benefit of the doubt, where they don't have the purchase, it'd be different. They go up to her and say, let's get the purchase. There isn't. It's met with that.
Okay. Can I ask before we go forward, back in 14, there was a $625 fine for a 4.01 violation. What was that?
Sales to a minor.
Oh, okay. And that's carry-out thing as well, I guess? Somebody,
I don't think so, but
okay.
I don't know, but
Well, any questions from the other commissioners?
Yeah, I just want to better understand. So, Mr. Kudensky, are you saying that there's a practice, I'm just trying to understand this, where someone's coming into the establishment to buy another bottle of whatever, and the bottle they have in a bag, they place at the front, go and buy their bottle, and then leave with both bottles?
and a lot of times it could be they didn't buy that container from their location.
That's right. No,
When they sell it,
They brought it
they
in.
put it in the bag and they close the
Sure.
bag, and they go, and then you'll see the person goes down, they pick one up.
Sure.
And I mean, they're not the only liquor establishment on that Washington Boulevard, there must be 10 of them there. And what happens is from before I instructed them, they have signs, that's the reason why she confronts them. Says, you can't be putting me in jeopardy by doing this. Second one, once the person gets outside the door, they really have nothing they can do other than say, Mr. Greenfeld, you've been in here twice carrying it, you're barred. Then she gets in a confrontation with them,
I saw
and then
that.
they go ahead and do that.
Unfortunate. Let me ask Mr. Fossler or Detective Gatto, when you saw this gentleman come out, did he have one can, one bag, or 2 cans, 2 bags? What did he have in his hand?
One, Commissioner, one can of beer.
And there was nothing else in pockets to suggest that he had just gone into Chris Liquors and purchased something and was bringing it out?
No, sir.
Okay.
And then also conversely, there's no evidence that he bought anything. You know, and just give you as an example.
Sure.
You know, because only because I know a little bit about them. Somebody will go in and they'll buy a 20 ouncer, and they put it in the bag. He turns around, he's walking the door, opens it up, starts it. What am I supposed to do? I'm sorry. He told me I've got to get in front of the microphone. There's nothing that they can do other than bar that person from doing that. So you have to allow, permit them. If you don't allow and permit them, you're not guilty. Now, if you do that on a consistent basis, I can just tell you can't come in here. You're jeopardizing my license. It's not worse than you to $250, $500 me or $1,000 theft. We don't have any of that here.
You're suggesting there's no way to stop this at all?
Bar them and lock them up.
So can I ask Ms. Cower, your client, a question? So I'm sorry for the incident on the video. That's horrible. Yeah, I'm sorry to see that. We see a lot of complaints from a number of establishments. Yours is one that comes up. Not violations, but complaints on 311. What do you attribute that to? Can you come up to the microphone?
That people have like my front is house, right? That people not talk to me. I don't think so. Maybe no like for me. That people drinking outside, throw the cane in my door. My husband tell for that people, don't do that like that, right? I have a trouble that one. After that people call for liquor board.
So
I'm clean lot of time for daytime, night time, but now it stop because city is not safe. I'm not going to like night time outside.
Sure, no, I understand.
Yes. I have a video too that people do. The people drinking outside, eating outside, cook outside, front in my door.
Have you thought about maybe having someone as security out front? I'm just curious because I often see the 311 calls we do, and again, I'm not suggesting they're violations. I'm just suggesting communities complain, and so I wonder back to our previous case whether there's a way for you to maybe get security, maybe work with the community in a different way. That's my question.
Not have all people like that over there. The mostly people is good people over
Sure,
there.
no, I understand.
Yes, the mostly people is good people, good customer. Nobody bother me over there. It's some people, not everyone.
Yeah, no, I'm more concerned about the community around you as well, and having some screen, some security to make sure that these incidents don't happen again. That's all.
Okay.
I have nothing further.
Okay, all right.
Anything else?
No, no
Okay.
questions.
Based on the evidence presented, I believe that there's sufficient evidence to find a violation of Rule 4.07E, but I would suspend the fine.
I concur. I agree.
I agree as well.
Okay? Thank you.
Do you also suspend the administrative costs as well?
Yes.
And I guess just a little explanation, very brief. I do believe that it happened. I do believe that you've tried. I found the video of the assault, which is what that was, to be compelling. And I think that those are the reasons why, I concur with suspending the fine.
Yeah, one of the problems that we have, maybe I'm speaking out of school, but in both this case and the one before it, you're operating establishments in difficult locations, and while we're sympathetic to some extent, we still have to enforce the liquor laws, and we don't really control the social issues that are attendant, and that's unfortunate.
Always comes back as how much before.
I understand
we
that.
had the bird cage where the guy was shot dead because he went there and told the guy he can't water. And they're saying he was doing the right thing, and now he's dead. And they're saying that now they tell you, don't go outside and argue and call the police. When you call the police, then you write the police report. But it's a catch-22.
I agree. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, these, I don't
Be
think
received in
they're in the
evidence, yes.
evidence? Okay.
I believe that concludes our docket.
It does.
We will be in
So-
recess or adjourned.
Take care.
What,
Have a clear understanding
Whew.
Case for K&D Restaurant today?
K&D Restaurant?
Yes.
No.
That was not for today. That got postponed.
Got postponed from July 30th to today.
But today's not even July 30th yet. You mean June?
June 30th.
Uh,
No, that,